Today on In the Woodyard, we've got some maintenance on the tractor, we got some cleanup underneath the processor, we've got some stuff to move, we've got a delivery, and I am going to adapt the IBC tote to blow some sawdust in because we're going to run some firewood through here pretty darn soon. Here we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to load up the truck with some wood because my delivery is at the very end of the day, but I got a lot of work to do and I don't want to forget, so I want to get the wood loaded up so I can just take it and go deliver it at the end of the day. And then after that, then I got some tractor greasing to do. We got a bunch of debris to clean up underneath the processor. I got a little bit of stacking to do. I got some cleanup over on the other side over there. There's all kinds of little projects that I need to take care of because in the next couple days I'm going to start processing wood, so I got to get it ready. So we're going to load some wood up right now. Now this order is for cherry, oak, ash, or maple. He didn't care. He said just whatever, throw it in. So that's what he's going to get. I'm going to put a little bit of cherry in, we're going to put a little bit of oak in, we're going to put a little bit of maple in. So we're going to hit all the piles and just throw a bunch of stuff in. There it is, firewood in the truck. I got that done, and so now I'm going to go do some tractor maintenance. I've got greasing to do, and I'm going to spray some lubricant on my 3-point back where all the moving parts are. I'm going to spray that. I got to clean all my grease zerk fittings out because they're all caked with mud, and they're very nasty from when I did all the gravel work, so I want to get that. I haven't done that in a while, and I got a little squeak up front, and I think I know where it's coming from. I'm pretty sure I found it. So it's not any of the greasable parts, it's something else. I'll show you in a little bit. So the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to clean out all of my zerk fittings here for greasing, because I need to grease everything because I haven't greased in a while. And there's a lot of dirt and gravel and stuff that got into all these fittings, so I'm just using a toothbrush just to kind of scrape out the really bad stuff, because it's caked right in here in some of these. As you can see, it's kind of a mixture of mud, rock, sand, dust, clay, grease, slime, all that good stuff. So I'm just kind of cleaning these out. I'll go in and jam it in and try to clean them up a little better because I haven't cleaned in a while, like I said. So basically, I don't want to shoot any more dirt into the fitting as I have to. Like none would be the right amount, none. There you go, this is getting cleaner now. So yeah, it's been a while since I greased, I don't know. I've used it a bunch, so I figured it's time. So as you can see on this side, it's quite a bit worse. It's just really caked in there. You would not want to stick your grease fitting in there and start pumping in dirt. That one I cleaned out. You can see it's nice and good. Brushed it out. This one, pretty nasty. So I'm going to take the brush and I'm going to just go in there and just kind of scrape out the crap. And I twirl it around a bunch and try to get the nastiness off. I know for some of you this is overkill, and there's other people that would say, oh my gosh, you need to spray that with some degreaser and get it cleaned out. And I don't know, I'm just doing it good enough. It's almost like grease mud out of there, which I'm sure happens a lot on machines. There we go, that's better. And yeah, I know a lot of guys are gonna say, oh, you don't need to go through all that. We just shove it in there and pump the grease. But my guess is a lot of you guys are gonna say that you're saying that because it's somebody else's machine that you didn't pay for. I paid for this. So I want it done right, I want it clean. That's better. Still got some chunks in there, but that's what it used to look like. And that's what it looks like now. So this one's really bad too. So I'm going to go in there with the brush on this one too. That's why the grease that's in there kind of attracts the sand and dirt and clay and all the goodies. But on the other hand, it also kind of keeps it so that it's in the grease and you can kind of scoop it out. And they probably make a device for doing this, but I don't know. I just use an old toothbrush or a new toothbrush or the toothbrush I'm going to use tonight. I'm on this axle one here. I just take the rag and kind of clean off the gunk. The other side was really bad. I mean, you could hardly even find the Zerk fitting. There, that one's better. Let's see if I can find another one or two. So I greased all the fittings. Now I'm just going to go around and wipe off the extra grease that's sticking out on all these, because some of them it gushed out just a little bit. So try to get them cleaned up just a little so they're not so greasy if I rub up against them that I fill my hand with grease. And some of these I shot out because I pumped a little extra because I wasn't seeing any coming out, especially in the front here. It was so dirty. I wanted to make sure I saw grease actually, if I can get in there, saw grease coming out up, you know, through the cracks there. I want to make sure that I actually saw some grease coming out, make sure it's not plugged. So I definitely put enough on. So I did the whole front end underneath, and I went over to my grapple, and there's 6 fittings on there, I think, and I did all the grapple grip fittings. So better. So for those of you that haven't watched my channel in a while, I do have a Milwaukee grease gun. It's excellent, absolutely love it, works fantastic. And the lubricant that I used today was not this stuff. I had a tube in here of old stuff that I had to use up first. And when Logger L was here about, I don't know, a week and a half or so ago, maybe 2 weeks ago now, he brought me some of the best grease there is. He says that one is summer, one is winter, one's a 100-pound Timken load, whatever that means, but I know one's a winter, and there's a 80. He said one's a winter, one is a summer. There's a black and a red cap, but it is a Texas Refinery Company, and it's a TRC, and he says this is the best, this is the stuff. This is the stuff you gotta have. He said he's been using it for a long time, and he never has a problem with squeaks or anything. He said it's super sticky stuff. So I'm going to be putting that in as soon as the tube that's in here runs out, and then I'll start using the good stuff. Uh-oh, whoopsie. So there's all the grease fittings. I got greased. I wiped off some of the excess stuff and that's all done. And this is one of the spots I mount cameras for when I'm doing videos for you guys to get the cool views, because I can make this tripod go up pretty high so I can get the loader action with, you know, the bucket or the grapple. And so that's where that is. Because I have the camera mounted right there, a lot of times I noticed when I was raising the bucket or the grapple, I would hear just a real high-pitched little squeal. Usually that means you got metal on metal somewhere. So I thought it was something that was not greased enough. So I put grease in everything and I tested it and I could still hear it. And it dawned on me, there's one part that's not greasable right here. This is my indicator rod. So what I did was I put a bunch of grease on it. I put it all the way up and I put a bunch of grease down here on it, and then I ran it up and down, and that's where it was. It was squeaking right in here. It was a real high pitched kind of a squeal. So it's gone now. So that's good. So I was kind of worried. I thought maybe I missed a Zerk fitting. I missed something. It wasn't getting greased over the last 120 hours or so I got on the tractor. That's what it was. It just wore enough on the inside now that that brass rod was making a real high-pitched squeal. You may even have heard it on a video and wondered what that was. I noticed it when I was doing my editing, like, what is causing that squeaking? So I thought, I better grease everything. It's been a while. So there you go. That's done. Now we're going to go over and we're going to start working on my IBC tote, cutting it away and getting it up to the chute and scooping up a whole bunch of the sawdust and putting it in there. I'm going to get that ready to go. So when I start processing wood next week, it's good to go. So this is the chute where the sawdust flies out, and I've just been throwing it onto the ground. I put a tarp down and we've been capturing the sawdust just on a pile here. But what I want to do is I'm going to cut away into the tote. I'm going to cut a hole here so we can put it right up to the hole where the sawdust flies out, so it can go directly into the tote. And then when I get my forks, I can just pick these up and I can take them and I can move them to where I want, and I can collect all this beautiful sawdust here that someone's going to want. So that's what's going to happen. Okay, so for my next project is I need to get this tote up to the chute for the sawdust that comes off the processor, and I need to cut a hole in this so I can fill it up. But I got this in the way because I kind of got the cart before the horse here, and I threw this in front of it. And this is going to be heavy, but I'm going to see if I can drag it out of here and make room to get the tote in. We'll see what happens here. I got a feeling it's going to be heavy, like more than I can pull. Oh, nope, I think I can wiggle it out. It got rained on, so it's kind of wet too, but it's heavy. Yeah, there we go. Wasn't so bad. Like dragging a deer. So I realized this is not going to capture all the sawdust. It's probably going to capture, from what I can see, from what it did underneath, maybe 2/3 of it, maybe 3/4 of it. But it's better than just having it all go on the ground. And it's pure sawdust, which I know I can do something with. Someone will be interested in buying it or using it or something. We'll see. I'll figure something out, because I know it produces a lot. I was talking to Skidder Kev, and he told me that on a good day of production, they'll fill 3 or 4 of these. That's a lot of sawdust. That's a lot of production with a lot of machines running to feed it and a good crew. And most of the time I'm going to be alone, so I know I won't fill that many. But I'll do my best to produce as much as I can. So now we're going to wiggle this thing over here. Looks like I'm getting close. So I just want to kind of eye it up to see what I need to do as far as the hole. I'm not even going to measure. My plan is to cut. I think I'm going to take this right off. This doesn't need to be on. That's no structural. Yeah, it's just a label plate, it looks like, place to put the labels on. I think all I'm going to have to do is cut this pipe right here, or this part of the frame, and then cut a hole in right here and leave everything on. It should work. And maybe, yeah, that's probably all I'm going to need to do, because it's going to be right down here, probably right about in there. I think I can get it close enough. That should work. We'll see what happens. So I'm going to start ripping and tearing. So I brought out my favorite tool, Mr. Vice Grip. I'm just going to clamp on here and rip this sucker off. Almost. Come on, baby. There we go. There we go. It's off. Yeah, that doesn't need to be on there. So I'm going to cut this off here. I'm going to cut it off here. I'm going to cut myself a hole. I'm going to leave a little bit of this edge here so it's got a little structural integrity on the top, and then down and over. And that should fit right in there. And I know I won't be able to fill it right to the top, but this is the size of tote I have here right now. I think I got this one big one, and I think there's 3 small ones, but I can always get more totes, and we'll see, and I'll fill them up, and then I'll get my forks, and I'll be able to move these in and out with the tractor, and in is no problem. They're pretty easy to move around. You just walk them in wherever you got to do, and then out, I'll store them somewhere and then try to find a market for the sawdust. Regardless, I've got to get rid of the sawdust, and this is the easiest way to capture it. Even if I end up just dumping it, at least I can capture it, and then if I end up where I have to dump it, I can just cut the top off and then just tip it over and dump it out. But at least I can capture it at least and keep it contained, which will be good. So time to get cutting. It's going to cut here and here with the grinder, and then I'm going to take the jigsaw or reciprocating saw and just cut a hole here. So that's what we're going to do. There's one. There we go. See what I can do here for a hole. This is going to be interesting here. Just like a surgeon. That's what I feel like, a surgeon. It's getting harder to cut. Let's go up here and come around. There we go. Now I can get inside and cut. Maybe, maybe not. There we go. Hello! Okay, now we'll move all this junk out of here and we'll slide her up and see what happens. Oh, just in case you wonder where you are here. You are right here. Let's see how I eyeballed it. That's all I did. No measurements were taken. Let's see. Oh. Yep, not too bad. It's just a little bit high on the plastic. I'm going to cut a little bit more out in the front here. I'll show y'all. Where the chute is right here, so got to come this way just a little bit. Plenty high for sure, and got to go a little lower because I'll stick this right inside here so you can see. So right there's the lip, and right there's the chute. So I'm going to cut a little bit more of this plastic away, probably another, I don't know, 2 inches or so. That way I'll be okay. So that's what we're going to do next. And I think maybe, or yeah, I could do that too. Let's just pull this back out and ask you a question. And if I ask you the question, you can answer me in the comments, but I'll probably have it done already by then. Okay, so here, so I'm thinking I could cut this down so it's just below this bar right here. So it's just below that. Then I think I can zip tie this tight here. And then I can get this bar, will fit just underneath the chute right here. Hello! All right, so here's what I did. I thought I pushed record on the camera, but I did not because I'm an idiot. So what I did was I cut an additional, I don't know, inch off here, something like that. I cut it at an angle, and then I punched holes in the bottom there, and I put a zip tie on all those. So this is up tight now. So now this should be below here when I put it in there. So let's slide it up and see what happens. Okay, let's see if we can get this bad boy in place. I'm an idiot! You're an idiot. How are we doing on the chute? Oh yeah, it hits the fender. Okay, so I slid it in place, and I get the camera here as close as I can. Right there's the chute, right there's the edge, and the problem is right here it hits the fender. So that's as close as I can get it right there. So what I'm thinking I might do is I just may make something that I can put underneath right here that would go underneath the edge of the chute and go over this, just like a little lip. Because I think that little bit of space might make a difference. I don't know, we'll run it like that and see how much I lose out the front of it. I might not lose anything, but that's about as close as I can get it because of hitting the fender on this side over here. As you can see, it starts to hit right here. But that's not too shabby. I think I can get most of it that way. So we'll find out when I cut the next time. So I got that done. That's another project off the books. So my next project on my list is this wood right here that was cut at the end of the winter when I had some visitors, people that were trying out my saws, and this was out in the field, and I finally got it off the grass so the grass can grow back because it was just laying there. It's a bunch of stuff we cut up, and I split it just the other day. You saw that, at least you should have. And I'm gonna get it stacked right now because it's just sitting here. So I split it right into the pile where it's gonna be stacked. So I'm just gonna stack this right now and get this off the ground. Wood stacked. That was nice, get that done. Now I can just keep adding to it and going this way and fill all this area in right here when I get more stuff processed. Stack it right back in here. It's amazing how fast that stuff is drying because it's the last couple of days it's been really hot and dry and a lot of wind. You can just tell the wood sounds dry already. I'm sure it's wet on the inside, but it will dry very fast. And I was just talking to a guy the other day that was talking about frickin' Jeep. John, yes, you. He watches the channel sometimes. He did an experiment that would be kind of interesting for some of you that don't know how fast wood dries. And apparently, I believe, from what I remember, what he was telling me, not John, the guy that watches John, he dried wood and weighed it every day, and it's like 70% of the moisture leaves the wood in the first couple months. And then after that, it slows way down. So in about 2 to 3 months, your wood is drying a lot. In the summer especially, so that's interesting. So I actually want to go watch that video and just kind of see. I knew he was doing experiments with drying wood in his greenhouse and then weighing it and then figuring out, you know, how fast the percentage of the drying went, and very interesting. And I'm sure different types of wood dry better, and that's one of the reasons why I really like ash, maple, cherry, the wood that dries really fast. Not so much the hickory and the oak, they dry real slow. That's from my experience anyway. Okay. That's done. Next job, I was gonna do some more stacking, but I gotta go do my delivery now. I didn't realize how late it was, so I'm going to do wood delivery. Here we go.